And I am back a little bit late, but I'm here. Late night with self love and self care. I believe we left off with decompressing from toxic situations, dealing with toxic people, giving ourselves that time to reflect and evaluate, process what we've been through, taking time to really unwind from the trauma that we exposed our psyche to. So I am here. I don't know who's up with me. I don't know if I have any late night owls, but we burning the midnight oil. I'm just checking out a few things here, getting situated. But yeah, I've been noticing, the situation, especially on YouTube and social media. It's really getting crazy out here. It's a lot of hypersensitive people traipsing around, trolling around online. And like I said many times before, these are people that, you standing in line next to in the store. These are people that we sit next to on bus. These are people who just pass us by as we walking or driving down the street, going about our daily business. You know, and it's very unsettling. It is. It's very unsettling sometimes to see that people can be so heinous towards each other. And most of the time it's for little of nothing. It's a lot of misconstrued, much to do about nothing, you know. Um, It's almost as, it is. That's not almost. It is, to me, what I see. It's a group of people who are very broken, very lost. Lots of them are very confused, misguided. They have a lot of layered issues that just simply have been neglected. A lot of it, is a lot of lashing out, a lot of desperate need for attention and for those things to be addressed and their feelings to be validated, and they find a target and they go at it. So yeah, we need to make sure that we decompress, take the time to provide ourselves with self-love and self-care. This was something that was, you know, really foreign to me, when I was going through a lot of uh, difficult times emotionally, dealing with, parents who are narcissistic, abusers, very emotionally neglectful people, who need a scapegoat. Just like these people you see online, they need a scapegoat. They need somebody to blame. They need somebody to punish. They need somebody to punish for not being heard, not being attended to, not being validated. For some reason, people like this, they feel like, other people have something they don't. And they have to find a way to remove that trait, remove that, destroy it, kill it, expose it. They have to vilify anything positive, any good quality. You know, that's why it's so very important to be honest with yourself, be honest with others, and for me, in cases like this, what I see on the social media, less is more. You know, we can sit and discuss it. We have, little chats about it, little powwows and things like that. But, in dealing directly with these folk, I have learned the hard way that it's impossible to try to find any common ground of reason, um, and definitely, trust is out the window. We can't trust too many people like that on here and in real life. It's sad to say, but it's true. Um, Everybody that's dressed for the part, they can't attend the event. Just because they say that they're down with you don't mean that they are always going to be there for you. Boy, did I ever learn that the hard way. Over time, over the years. Self love and self care are so very important. And this is totally okay to say no and disagree and have people just not like you because of that reason. You know, many among us in the black nation, they feel that if it's very monolithic mindset. It's a monolithic mindset. If we all don't agree 100% on every point or every topic, then that one that doesn't agree gotta be a sellout, gotta be a hater, gotta be a coon. You know, it's like, to me, it's beneath sandbox logic. It just defies any and all reason and logic. And the self love and self care come in where you can, excuse me, separate yourself from all of the madness, all of the din of chaos, all of the, you know, white noise, all the hubbub, and still identify with who you are, your principles, morals, standards. Is maintaining your stance, your view, your ideals, your ideologies, whatever. Maintaining that, being consistent. You don't have to waver in the wind and hop the fence every anytime somebody objects. You bow and bend and follow along with the latest trending thing. Whoever's on the winning team, that's where you go. I've seen that all too often, especially on social media. I don't know how people who proclaim to be adults, I don't understand how people can be so easily influenced by another person behind a device based on their words, how they use their words, and the influence they have on others. To me, that just denotes somebody who has a very low regard for themselves. The self love and self care comes in when you can stand firm on what you know to be true, what you know is righteous, what you know difference from right from wrong. And when you see things that are just off, out of balance, out of pocket, however you want to put it, you can stand on that principle and say, you know what, this just ain't right. I might not be able to alter the outcome of the situation. However, I'm going to speak on it. I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to put it out there, plant that seed. But a lot of people take pleasure in watching other people suffer. It feeds the ego, but it definitely doesn't feed the soul. It doesn't feed the spirit, to take pleasure in watching somebody else suffer, adding to their suffrage, um, taking pleasure in manipulating someone or something, a situation, into a toxic environment. I just don't get it. just don't get it, you know. And me personally, I have to maintain myself. I can't seek validation from external sources, external beings, external situations that just are not healthy all the way around for anybody, let alone, you know, trying to manipulate and campaign a wave of people to attack someone for their belief, attack someone for their views, attack someone because of their gender or whatever choices they make in life, what makes them up to be who they are. You know, that's where self-love and self-care comes in. You know, when you're decompressing from all this toxic stuff, you know, it just it's a point where you reach, you know, where you have a level of where you shut it off. It's like, this is enough and too much too, so I need to truly move in another direction and move on to something else that is going to serve a greater purpose. You know, sadly, this is a time and an era where it's selfish. It's a very unbalanced, very morbid sense of selfishness that people have, you know, who do enjoy and get off on suffering, pain. You know, I've heard many people admit it ongoing. You know, I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna expose you. This is what I do. This is my forte. This is how I, you know, operate. Anybody can get it, and so forth. You know, it's just madness. That's what it is. It's chaos and madness personified, and it's a reflection of how people feel and what they're carrying around every day with them, and they refuse to address it. They refuse to acknowledge it and accept the fact that, you know what, I am really going through a thing here, and I really need to look into this a little deeper. You know, that's off the table. It's just it's unheard of. It's not gonna happen because that pride and ego. You can't take care of yourself and love yourself if you let your pride get in the way. You know, your pride keeps you from accepting and admitting those things that are just not suited for evolution, to evolve, you know. It's a humbling experience, and you know, a lot of the lessons that we learn come hard when pride is involved. The ego, a lot of people have a very frail ego, and you know, they come on here to have it massaged and stroked. A lot of people come online and go out in the world just to see and investigate as to what or who they can get into to boost their ego, you know, to elevate their pride, to make them feel um, desirable, because on the inside they need that validation, they need that verification that, you know what, how I look, what I'm wearing, my attitude, my, you know, my false prideful pathology. I need people to acknowledge it so that I can move on, make it to the next moment, make it to the next situation, and just floundering through life. wasting people's time, wasting their own time. Destructive, mentally and emotionally destructive, just devastated within. There's just so much, so many things that they're holding, carrying, and it just reminds me of that song Bag Lady. So it's so very ironic, the metaphor. You gonna miss your bus, you can't hurry up because you got so much stuff. People move through life in slow motion without self-love and self-care. It's almost like they're stagnated and stuck, can't get past that pain, or that event that left a scar. It's very important to notice these things. People don't take the time to really truly evaluate who they connect with, and they're so eager to just connect and be noticed, be recognized. And my apologies, because I know there was some chat comments in the last hangout, and I apologize to Mama Sita. I saw them after I ended the hangout. I'm so sorry. But the Botanica Spa will begin here in the good old South of Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is where I'm going to start the first, you know, stages of it. And I have two locations that I am currently eyeballing right now that I would like to create and turn it into the Botanica. Um, excuse me, the historical district here, it's very daunting. They have very old, beautiful old homes. Some of them have, very, very checkered history. Some of them have, energy in there that is magical. Some of it is not so good. It's very, very heavy, morbid energy. But I found two places that I feel very good about here in Fayetteville. So that's what I'm looking to do. Location number one will be here. And eventually, I do want to branch out and add on and expand, but baby steps, baby steps. I'm a big dreamer and a visionary, and I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work to get, things set up just so to be able to expand and add on to what you already have. So, starting with Fayetteville and all these things that I'm mentioning, they'll be itemized, and it's going to be organized in a fashion where it's inclusive. It's all inclusive, for us, for our people to come to have a safe place to fall. You know, it's a safe place to talk about things, a safe place to work through things, safe place to truly discover and rediscover yourself. And again, it's ongoing. It never ends when you are growing and learning and absorbing more information to become a better you, a healthier you, and to heal in a fashion in which you don't need to connect yourself to chaos or drama or negative influence. you know, I truly thought peer pressure went out the window in junior high, middle school. But I see peer pressure is very, very intense, especially on social media. A lot of people care about what other people think. Superficial thoughts. It's not even, you know, about the character, the moral fiber of the person. That had nothing to do with that. It's about, like I said, destruction and devastation. Who can expose who, and who can make the worst go of it? Who can turn it into the worst clown and pony show? You know, who can who can gouge the other one's eyes out with precision? These are people who age really doesn't matter, but this is what we would say middle aged folks. From early 30s to mid 40s and beyond in the 50s. There are people in their 50s who they'll outwardly tell you that they're not, uh, outwardly, they'll tell you they're not engaging in any drama. They don't like drama. They try to stay out of the line of fire, and they don't do all of this stuff that they see online. But you check the comment sections of some of these videos with people going back and forth, and the very people who tell you I don't do this and I don't do that, right there chiming in, doing exactly the opposite of what they say do. And if you confront them or indicate that and point it out, oh my goodness, they're gonna flush you too, just like they do anybody else they come in contact with that poses a challenge. That challenge them on their hypocrisy, challenges them on their cognitive dissonance, zero self-love and self-care, recycling the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcome, expecting anybody they come in contact with to embrace that same low level of inconsiderate treatment of themselves and others. You know, swiftly to put other people down, swiftly to make a mockery and poke fun and jab at people who are going through a little something. People who have fallen into the snares of this crazy that we see. It's funny, it's entertainment, you know. And these are actual people that are behind the same type of keyboard, fire up their devices, and chime in on the same madness. And because of the anonymity of it all, and the invincible feeling it gives a lot of us to sit here and ramble on and talk a lot of cash money bullshit about and to each other, they feel untouchable. But it still touches your psyche, it still touches your spirit, it still tarnishes you and adds a couple of chinks in that frail armor that you call your ego. These are the very people who are telling, when they get backed into a corner, oh, you know what, let's just let it go and move on, move past it, let's not talk about it. Um, you know, Silence is golden. Let me just stay out of it. I don't want to get it too. So that's why I'm quiet. That's why I don't say much. That's why I just observe. And they throwing their friends under the bus, and they don't even realize it. They betraying the trust of those who they have formed alliances with. Toss them right under the bus. Don't even realize it. So it's really as we get older, it's a blessing to see each year pass, you know. And as we get older, you know, I would like to see us value each year more than spending our time trying to devalue each other and taking away from the value of ourselves with the hateful pathology, the destructive pathology, the ego driven pathology. It's really old and boring, very much. I mean, for me especially, because it's just a spot for me that I watched all of this type of stuff growing up. I seen it all, heard it all. And that might be one reason why I can just let a lot of stuff roll off my back, outside of two things: somebody that's a liar, somebody that is a blatant, purposeful manipulator, somebody who likes to incite, propagate, and cultivate bullshit with no sense of self accountability, no personal ownership of their own actions, the refusal to own up to their part in this madness. That's what really gets under my skin. Then I have to say something in my own defense. Then I have to say something if it affects me. With those things, I have to say something. So yeah, it's something to behold, definitely. Because I've bumped into people in real life who act just like these people online. Had brief interaction with a couple of people since I've been here, and it's almost as if these people feel entitled to waste your time. They feel entitled to um, barge into and bogard their way into your personal space. And if you disallow it or you draw a line and hold your boundaries firm, that automatically makes you the victimizer. And that's where self-love and self-care come in. Just can't allow it. You just cannot allow it. You have to preserve your sanity and disassociate with it. Period. Done. Cut off. Sorry. I cannot have somebody who's toxic trying to pry their way into my personal space where I share with my family and my loved ones and divulge all of the sensitive things that I hold dear so that you can feel satisfied, connected to something, so that then as soon as things don't go your way, you turn it upside down. Can't do it, you know. And just recently, I said it before. I don't, I don't really go into a lot of detail about this online shit that goes down. People come for me and others. I'm not different than nobody else. But my personal experiences with people who come for me and who have, tried to bait me or goat me into a situation to humiliate or expose or redefine who the fuck I am or whatever. It's pitiful. It don't really bother me per se personally, but it's disturbing to see that there's people like that. The most recent situation where somebody was just outdone and upset that they weren't given a certain set of information that's personal and private, have nothing to do with anything anybody else is doing in their life, has no bearing on any type of connection that I had with this person, and that have no justifiable cause, reason, or rhyme or reason to have done and said all the things that occurred. And it's like still waiting on logical explanation. Never gonna get it. There's no real justifiable reason, no justifiable explanation that can make sense. That's not filled with a bunch of bullshit and self-loathing nonsense. Yeah, it puts you in deep thought sometimes when you look at it and you think about reflecting back on what you've been through, what you witnessed with certain people, and it's mind-boggling if you allow it to, if you let it. Um, I like to stay at least once removed from stuff like that because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to figure out why this person is as crazy as they are and why they targeting you and why do they need help in a peanut gallery to do that. Why are they cowards? Why did they take the cowardly route? Why was it less of a confrontation and more of a conversation? Why do people like this make life more difficult for themselves and in turn inconveniencing others with how difficult they are, you know, and how they struggle to connect with people, on such a low frequency or low vibration to where it must be their way, they must have control, or there's no way I'm going to destroy you. If you don't allow me to control you, then I destroy you. If I'm not allowed to partake in my will upon your life or any circumstances that you involve yourself in, I must be the ringleader of it and manipulate you accordingly, pull your strings, be your puppet master. Then I'm going to expose you. You're fake, you're fraud. What are the other words that the people use? others when they can't place their grip around you to manipulate you. Fake fraud. We did sellout, coarse coon, charlatan. These are all things that they use, shaming tactics they use. Especially this gender war man against woman type shit. People pretending that, they down for the cause and they standing up for the black woman and they don't like these messages that are being put out by certain folk. Yet when you take a couple of steps back and look at it and you set them next to each other, one is no different than the other. One is no more hypocritical than the other. You know, one is no more sane than the other. One is no less sane than the. They all basically have the same myopic mindset, and they trying to outdo each other with the crazy. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, and this is everyday life. This is how I grew up watching my parents compete. Man versus woman, husband versus wife. This is what I saw every single day. Passive aggressiveness, low blows, critical, analytical, critical, and very, very harsh communication, lots of verbal abuse, mental neglect. I mean, I seen it all. And to come on forums like this, come to a forum like this, just YouTube, um, to see and almost relive it, you know. Speak in your mind, you do your thing. YouTube, that's what it is. YouTube, you putting your content out there, sharing your thoughts, sharing your beliefs, sharing your experiences, whatever. And you got people, that critique. That's what it's there for. Comments, people agree, they disagree, they suggest, whatever. It can't be just left at that. Shut their channel down and go crawl under the bed and ball up in tears. It's YouTube. It's for everybody. And they say this black sector. To me, it's like a damn prison. It's operated like a fucking penitentiary. You know, savage. But the first one to be insulted when out into the street and treated like a savage. Oh, how dare you? Black men getting gunned down left, right, up, and down, like worse than animals. But you look at social media, this here YouTube now, and it's like a damn zoo where there's no handlers. Just handlers. The animals, the savages ate the handlers. Just devoured all the and it's just madness. It's like giving a monkey a machine gun and expecting him to have pristine aim. you know, but it's life right now. How we see it, what we see, what we're witnessing. This is what happens when issues upon issues compile and build up over the years and they go unaddressed. They go neglected. Self-love and self-care is absent. They don't have the tools to address what needs to be highlighted and extracted, replaced with better treatment of themselves. So, I mean, we have to love ourselves more. You know, we have to give ourselves that space away from the crazy, away from the dysfunction, you know. And it's really upsetting because, I see where my own relatives, my own mother, she's miserable without that narcissistic supply, feeding her sickness with confusion to the point where now, you know, as she's older, she doesn't really even realize that she's confused. When it's deliberately done for so long, so many years, you deliberately going against logic, deliberate, purposeful ignorance and purposeful chaos. You just get so accustomed to doing it till, we know narcissists don't ever admit when they are wrong, but they confuse themselves a lot. And I don't think she realized that she's confused and she did it to herself. And even that, she makes herself a victim out of that. Where anybody else, who has a healthy mindset, who does not have MPD, you know, would see that as, see it as odd. Like, okay, you're getting in your own way with this. Resolution, problem solving, troubleshooting, all of that is foreign to people with these personality disorders and, the sociopathic tendencies that you see. Putting things to rest, moving forward, moving on, that is foreign. It's foreign. It's like speaking Chinese. Self-love and self-care tells you and gives you the ability to move on. This is a dead horse that ass done been beat down and the horse done run away. So now I have to maintain my own sanity and go ahead and step off. That's what I have to do. And I have to step off and I have to regroup, reflect on what I just witnessed, the crazy shit, and truly redirect my energy on something else that's going to feed my spirit, my soul, and bring me something that's productive that I can work with, that's malleable, that's you know, my own energy, something that's not influencing me to do these self-destructive things that then infect the society and population around me. So yeah, self-love and self-care will do wonders once the tools are there. You just have to be open to it. We have to be open to it. And it's a big step for some of us because that pride again, that pride and that ego won't allow us to do it. We cannot be wrong. We cannot say I apologize unless it's convenient for us. So butterfly totem is slowly taking shape, and it would be such a blessing to have your support. Those few of us that are together tonight. Um, Hit that donate button, that support button for me. You know, I'm trying to reach a goal of $80, 80 decimal point 00, $80. And I am open and willing to do $20 1 hour live readings. Most of them that I have been doing have been Facebook. A lot of people on my Facebook have come to me recently, and Google Hangouts is another venue privately on camera that we have done the $20 live readings for 1 hour. Times are difficult for everybody, including me. Um, I'm exercising my tools right now to survive, and it's been a challenge. However, I'm grateful for it because I'm learning a lot of valuable lessons that I ignored along the way. Giving until it hurts, and just can't say no to certain things because your heartstrings are pulled, landed me in a very unfortunate situation, of which, once certain people got wind of that too, they had a field day with it or their little celebration dance with it. And it's really sad that an adult or a group of adults still have that mentality, yet turn their nose up at those of us who prefer not to partake in that type of behavior. The very ones discussing it ongoing, negativity ongoing, are the very ones who are struggling and suffering the very most. And they need that negativity to hold on to, you know, so that they feel in some way empowered. Yeah. But there has never been any shame in my game when it comes to my trials, tribulations, victories, and triumphs, my mistakes, any of that. I'm not uh, easily shamed. I'm not easily embarrassed by my own journey. The material that I share is what I have shared. And I've said this 100 million thousand times. People have to reach so far and deep, to find the slightest flaw so that they can have something to leverage and level themselves with you. It doesn't matter how far in your past it is. It doesn't matter, how minute your flub or stumble or mistake, bad choice was. It doesn't matter if it was a fleeting moment a bad judgment or if it was a pattern, and a litany of things that you went through. Some of us black folks have a very, very clandestine way of reaching. And like I said before earlier today, we will beat a dead horse until it is reincarnated into another life. We just don't know how to let anything go. Okay, I harped on it. I made a big deal about it. I celebrated that person's downfall. I done spread all kind of rumors about them. I've speculated and placed allegations on this person, even though I have no real idea of the depth of who this person is. Now, you would think it's time to move on. No. Many human beings, in this bubble of YouTube, this goddamn social toilet of YouTube that's called the black sector. Why? I don't know. That is just it's so juvenile, the sector. This is the good girls club. That's the bad girls club. This is the, punk rocker sector. This is the gang banging sector. It sounds like middle school. In middle school, you still go outside for recess. In middle school, the teacher still writes the homework assignments on the board for you. You're still learning how to be responsible, self-sufficient, independent thinkers. In middle school, you still have a lot of peer pressure, with the outward appearance of puberty changing you, the inner, internal feelings of your hormones changing. You have different feelings. You don't know how to express these things that your body is going through. You don't have the tools. Nobody sat down to help you understand these things. And then you have middle school minded folk trapped in adult bodies with adult hormones that are highly irresponsible with their language and behaviors, who have the ultimate goal to gawk at anybody else doing the exact same thing. Lend any type of correction to anybody else. you know. So I'm kind of jumping around. I'm still a little sleepy. I took a little power nap. Sorry I got back a little bit late. It's only a few of us gathered here this evening. It is this morning. Kind of early. But I am campaigning for to reach my goal. And like I said, if you have $10, I'd be happy to provide an email reading for you. It's empathangie@gmail.com. Very easy. And you can shoot me a PayPal. Click that support button, and $10 will get you a confidential and accurate reading based on whatever questions you ask. Same thing with the live one. $20, 1 full hour, and we can have a great powwow. Investing in yourself. Self-love and self-care starts with the first step. Get a reading. We can go through whatever concerns you, whatever you're curious about. But I am reaching for that $80 goal, And like I said, I know it's hard for everybody out there. I try to be considerate. When I'm in need of something, I'm willing to barter, exchange, trade, do what I can do to earn what I ask for. A lot of people have been very generous, and they have said, you know what, this is for you. Don't worry about it. Um, Sometimes I get a little leery about that because I was tricked before. Someone said, "You don't have to reimburse me. I just want to see you come out of this negative situation." And what a lot of people don't understand is when you don't have somebody funding your life for you, you fall into a rut sometimes, and it takes more time than what you think to get that turned around. And that's just a fact. Life happens to all of us, and sometimes our struggles, challenge us a little bit longer than what we care to go through it. But we have to persevere and endure and be creative and really help each other. That's one thing that I've been preaching and talking about and harping on and chewing on. We got to be better to each other. When it comes to needs, people, falling on very dire situations. You know, I was just speaking to a distant relative today. I initiated a conversation because, we were talking about family to me, and I'm so glad that I woke up to that programming early in my life. And it was a journey of studying. But here, you know, do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. And that has a lot of hidden meanings in it. And some ways you could look at it as a damn trick. And I'm very glad that I've learned how to identify real Christians from wolf in sheep clothing. It's disturbing, how people can talk out the side of their neck and tell you to your face, one thing, and then when it really boils down to the 11th hour, they to you by making an excuse and justifying their lack of action. And like I always say, it's not about the money. It's not about principle and living up to what you say and how you describe yourself and define yourself. You know, if you define yourself as a decent person, a philanthropic person, and someone is really truly reaching for you, it could be for positive energy. Encouragement goes a long way, and you don't have anything to offer but excuses and justifying why you can't take action to do something. It doesn't always have to always boil down to money. But we know without that, it's hard to survive. Yeah, I have a problem with that, with hypocrites. Excuse me, I had to go get something to drink and it's frozen, so I have to thaw it out. But these pseudo Christians, they're usually among our elders who have, been stamped with the ink of ignorance. We can't really hold them fully accountable for that because, evolution just didn't touch them the right way. It's frustrating. It's very disheartening. And the way that they are programmed, we can accept now that that's just not gonna, it's fruitless to try to get them to put on a different pair of glasses and see things different because they're stuck in their own way, and whatever way works for them is the way they feel should be the cookie cutter for everybody else. you know just like with college ain't for everybody. you know I'm not a good college student, but I was called to go back by the spirits, and I had to obey. And that's probably one of the reasons why I landed in the hole I did recently, because I didn't obey right away. you know and I can accept that about myself. you know but it just, in my ball game, my baseball diamond, it's just time out for you know trying to play on people's vulnerabilities. That shit, it's just so eighth grade. You know, you show that you vulnerable, you a punk, you soft, you a bitch, you a sellout, you this, you that, you crying, little Sally saucer sitting in the water, all that shit. These is grown adults doing this. Adult human beings, some of them, not all of them human. But yeah, self love and self care, very important. You know, we have to embrace everything, the flaws, the mistakes, the bad choices, the repeat bad choices. It happens, life happens. My grandmother used to say, show me a perfect person, and I'll show you a pig that can fly. Show me anybody who has not misstepped. She was wise, and she had a way with words that just really made you truly dig inside yourself. Show me somebody who has not made a misstep. A misstep. Isn't that some that's kind of a powerful word right there. Misstep. Our journey is filled with steps. Show me somebody that has not made a misstep, and I'll show you a pig that can fly. A lot of her wisdom she shared with me while she was cooking or sewing, creating something, you know? And she was very creative. And not just with her hands, she was creative with her mind, her words, and how she would phrase things. That old school way, where you kind of climb a tree and sit in a tree and just think or journal. And when you read the journal after a few years, it's almost like reading a story. That's how she would talk. And that was her biggest thing, was you have to love yourself. Love yourself. If you don't love you, nobody else will. You know? And then I woke up and found out I had the type of mama that I have. I'm like, ooh, this woman don't love me. She can't possibly love me. You know, that's a harsh revelation. And then to try to figure out a way how to love yourself, and you don't have a teacher to help teach you. Your teacher is broken. Your teacher needs some maintenance. But I thank God for my grandmother, and other women in my family who were that silent example of womanhood, that I kept it to myself how I admired them and how I would watch them truly take that time and enjoy themselves, and enjoy their time, whatever they were doing. And they always took time away to recharge and say, you know what? I love my family, I love my husband, and all that good stuff, but I need a break. I need a break. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. As long as it's not neglectful, that should be obvious. You know, should be obvious. As long as you're not negligent, it's okay to take a breath, take 10 steps back, and say, you know what? That don't mean I don't love you. That don't mean I don't care for your well-being, and I'm not going to continue to protect you and guide you and teach you as my brood, as my babies, as my whatever. My partner still is very significant to me. I just need to take a breath, you know? So support is key, and we got to learn how to support ourselves. Then we can understand how better to support each other, especially when things get critical. When it's a critical situation, you know, people's hands sometimes are tied. Sometimes hands, feet tied, gagged, and they just don't have a way. They don't have a means to try to make it connect back again. And humanity tells us that it's our responsibility to do something. Not just sit and watch people suffer and beg, and sit and see celebration and not celebrate with that person and say, you know what, I'm proud just to know that you're happy. I'm happy because you're happy. Some of that happy might trickled off on me. Because we all going in the same type of hole. And if we're not gonna be putting a hole, them ashes all look the same once it's done burning. Once the fire burns out, you got an urn full of ashes that don't look no different than the person that was cremated prior to you. When they dig that 6 foot hole, you fit in the same type of hole that the person that passed before you. Same thing. You all the same height. So that's all I'm asking is for us to be more supportive of each other. You know, for us to have that place of compassion. You know, when you see people trying to do good, motivate them to do better. So I am going to take another little power nap here, and looks like I'm down to just me again. So um, for the replay, Hit that support button for me. Help me reach my goal of $80. Inbox me your questions for your email readings is $10. For your live 1 hour readings is 20. And if you have it in your heart to spare an extra couple of dollars, that would be wonderful too. So Butterfly Totem is taking its shape. It's shaping up. And baby steps with anything that's worthwhile. So, my goal, I want to reach my goal of $80. And that's to get us over this last hurdle, this last hump, so that once I re enter the workforce, it'll be full steam ahead. And again, gratitude and thanks for everybody who have assisted and helped out on this journey, this portion of this journey, this new chapter. Um, it took me a minute to get my bearings and get my mind, my body catch up with my mind, or the other way around, my mind slow down so my body can catch up. When you do things in a hurry, sometimes an emergency situation, you get thrown off balance and things spiral, take a life of their own, spiral out of control to where we're like, oh goodness, now what? So we're just steady pressing forward. And I appreciate all the love and the prayers and the good energy and the positivity that has been expressed in our direction. And I think I'm gonna give it till 4:42 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back, and we'll do a part 4. Um, we'll see who's still up peaking. So keep in mind that we are our brothers and sisters keeper. You know, the ones that are broken. Sometimes we have to be strong for them too and show them a different way, a healthier way. And it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of strength to do it. But we can do it. You know, there's power in positivity. So I hope this touched somebody and I hope it makes sense so we can move forward another step to see another day, to see, success in all that we do and strive to do, you know. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu again for another about an hour, maybe two. And I'm going to check back and see if I can get some interaction on the next one because I know it's early and people are tired. It's been a long day for me too. And I'm doing this so I can stay healthy and energized, take my little power naps in between working so that, you know, we can keep pressing forward here. So Hotep, blessings and love to everybody. Be good to yourself. Take care of you first. Don't forget to book your readings at empathangie@gmail.com. Hit that PayPal button and send me your questions. $10 for email, $20 for live readings. Send your time that you're open to do your reading, and I'll be more than happy to provide it for you. Have a good rest of the morning, and I'm going to set my little alarm so I can start my burning the midnight oil over here. One love, one family, one unity. Heal the nation. Hotep, see you on the flip side.